In a world obsessed with more, louder, bigger, there is a place that chooses less. It doesn't chase attention. It doesn't scream for approval. It simply stands calm, unwavering, and bold in its silence. This is not a house that demands to be seen. It invites you to feel, to breathe, to pause. This is the Black Steel Barndominium. Minimalism isn't emptiness. It's presence, the presence of what truly matters. Every line, every edge, every shadow tells a story of restraint and purpose. Here, there's no clutter, no chaos, only space for light, for thought, for the kind of stillness we've forgotten how to hear. Look closer, and you'll find beauty in its simplicity. Matte black steel, strong, yet soft in its quiet confidence. Glass panels that don't just let light in, they frame life outside, like living artwork. And inside, no unnecessary ornament, no loud colors, just warmth hidden within strength, softness living inside steel. This is more than design. It's philosophy, a choice to live without noise, without distraction. Because sometimes the most powerful statement is silence. You see, minimalism is not cheap. It's not easy. Every detail here is deliberate, every corner carefully thought out, not to impress, but to disappear. The perfection of lines that vanish into the horizon, the black surfaces that swallow light, only to give it back as reflection. But here's the question, could you live this way? Could you trade the comfort of excess for the courage of simplicity? Could you let go of more to embrace better? Because this home, this black steel sanctuary, is not about steel or glass or space. It's about clarity. It's about freedom. And maybe it's about you. If you believe less is more, stay with us. This is just the beginning. Minimalism. People call it a style, but it's more than that. It's a quiet act of rebellion against a world drowning in noise. It's saying no, not to beauty, but to the unnecessary. The owners of this home didn't dream of more. They dreamed of less, but better. Less clutter, less distraction, less of what doesn't matter, and more of what does. Clarity, space, intention. Every beam here, every clean line, every corner untouched by chaos exists for a reason. Nothing extra, nothing forced. And that's the truth about minimalism. It isn't emptiness. It's presence. It's breathing room for the soul. It's that pause you've been craving but never gave yourself. Look at black. To some, it feels heavy, but here, it feels calm, grounding, certain. Black doesn't try to impress. It knows what it is, confident, enduring. And steel? Steel is strength, permanence, resilience. When the two meet, you don't get coldness. You get poetry and structure. Strength that feels elegant. Power that whispers instead of shouts. Why does this appeal to us now, more than ever? Maybe because we're tired. Tired of more, tired of chasing. Tired of rooms filled with things that fill no need. We crave balance. We crave space that gives us back our breath. That's what this home offers. Not walls, not ceilings, but freedom, crafted in black and steel. And when you step inside, you feel it. You feel the weight of excess fall away, replaced by something rare, peace. Minimalism is not the absence of life. It's the art of choosing what stays. And here, everything that remains matters. From a distance, it feels almost intimidating, a dark silhouette against an open horizon, standing tall like a fortress carved from shadow. It doesn't bend to the landscape, and yet, somehow, it belongs to it. That's the power of contrast. Black steel against soft fields. Clean geometry against the wild curves of nature. It's bold, unapologetic, and yet, there's a grace to it. A rhythm in the stillness, a beauty in the restraint. Step closer, and something shifts. What once looked severe begins to soften. The matte steel, once cold in the distance, feels warm under your fingertips. Its seamless lines catch the light in quiet whispers. And then the glass. Clear, reflective, alive with everything around it. It doesn't fight nature, it frames it. It takes the chaos of trees, skies, and clouds and turns them into living art. This is how simplicity creates drama, not through extravagance, but through presence. There are no ornaments here, no unnecessary flourishes. Every surface, every joint, every deliberate shadow exists for a reason. And in that restraint, there's power. You can sense it. The quiet confidence of a home that doesn't need to prove anything. It doesn't lure you in with promises of grandeur. It invites you in with something stronger, curiosity. Because the magic, it isn't outside. It isn't in the steel or the symmetry or the shadows stretching across the ground. No, the real magic is waiting inside these walls. Behind that door is a world you don't expect. A space that feels nothing like what you've seen so far. And that's where this story truly begins. Open the door, and the world changes. The darkness of steel gives way to light. Not the harsh glow of grand chandeliers, but soft daylight slipping silently through glass walls. Nature steps inside, framed like a living painting in every direction. The first thing you notice is space. Not empty space, but breathing space. An open floor plan that feels alive, unbroken, uninterrupted. There are no walls to trap you, no clutter to overwhelm you. Just freedom, flowing from one corner to the next. Every detail whispers restraint. Black accents define the space, anchoring it in strength, but they never overpower. They live in harmony with the warmth of wood. Tones so gentle, they feel like sunlight on your skin. Steel beams run across the ceiling, unapologetically exposed. Not hidden, not disguised. They are the veins of this house, carrying strength through every line, every joint. The floor beneath you, polished concrete, smooth as still water, reflects the quiet elegance of it all. Nothing screams for your attention, because everything is already enough. And yet, it doesn't feel cold. That's the paradox of this place. Black steel should feel severe, but here, paired with warm textures and natural light, it feels honest, grounded, safe. This is industrial design reimagined, not as something harsh, but as something human. Every choice here is intentional. No excess, no noise, just what matters and nothing more. You can feel the calm seeping into you, like the house is asking you to slow down, to let go of the rush outside these walls and simply exist. Because this isn't just a home. It's a statement, a declaration that simplicity isn't sterile, that minimalism isn't emptiness. It's clarity. And here, clarity feels like luxury. Perfection hides in the details. It's easy to admire the shape of a home, the sweep of its lines, but the real beauty lives in the things most people overlook. Run your hand along a matte black fixture, smooth and cool like a whisper in the dark. Look at the steel staircase, custom, weightless, floating like a thought suspended between two worlds. And then there's the kitchen, not just a kitchen, but a sculpture. Black and steel holding hands with light. Surfaces that don't just reflect, they glow softly, like calm breathing in a silent room. Every material here tells a story. Black steel, strong yet graceful. Glass, transparent yet commanding. Polished concrete, grounding the space like still water beneath a storm. Together, they create something rare, a home that feels both industrial and intimate. And then, the furniture, or rather, the absence of it. Every piece that exists here was chosen with purpose. No clutter, no chaos, no distractions. Because minimalism doesn't ask, what can I add? It asks, what can I take away? That's where the magic begins, not in what you see, but in what you don't. This is the kind of space where light becomes furniture, where shadows are part of the design. where emptiness is not emptiness at all, but intention. But as flawless as it feels, as effortless as it looks, there's a truth beneath this silence. A question that lingers in the air. What does it take to live this way? What does it cost? Not in money, but in mindset. To choose clarity over comfort, simplicity over safety? Because minimalism, real minimalism, isn't built with walls. It's built with choices. And sometimes, those choices demand more than you expect. Minimalism looks simple, effortless, like it just happened. But simplicity? Simplicity costs more than you think. Because when nothing is meant to stand out, everything has to be perfect. Every hidden joint, every flush line, every edge that vanishes into the wall, crafted with precision so sharp it disappears. It's easy to add. It's hard to subtract. Harder still to make what remains feel complete. Think about it. The black steel beams, bold yet seamless. The panels with no gaps, no flaws, no shadows where they shouldn't be. The concrete floors, polished until they hold light like water. None of this happens by accident. It takes hours, days, weeks of work. Not just labor, but craftsmanship. The kind that comes from hands that understand patience and minds that understand restraint. And then there's the cost you don't see. The emotional cost. Because living this way means letting go of things, of comfort, of the idea that more is better. It asks you to choose clarity over clutter, space over storage, intention over impulse. Financially? Yes, minimalism can be expensive. Because perfection hides in the smallest details. A single misaligned line can break the illusion of calm. So, everything must be custom. Everything must feel inevitable, as if it couldn't have been any other way. But beyond money, beyond effort, there's something else. A truth that makes this design so rare. In a world that measures value by volume, silence is the most expensive luxury.